Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Heidi ho, fiends. Welcome to Final Guys, the show where we talk about horror movies and comic books and games, almost never, I guess, and all kinds of shit. Anything horror related, usually with a lot of snark, quite a bit of swearing, and a lot of talk about Hunter's future job as a mopper.
Yes.
And if you need to know more about that, you might want to look into some past episodes.
Don't steal my idea.
I am Jason Brant, joined as always by Jack Campisi.
Hunter's number one reference for his job.
You're my favorite customer.
And Hunter Shea.
Hello.
So this week we're doing a twofer. Only the second time we've done this. We are doing Sir Noface and Bad Ben, the Mandela Effect. These are two very, very different movies. So I have a feeling things are going to get a little lively here, particularly during the first one, but we'll see.
And we're not doing anything else. We're doing news and just those two.
Just those two. We're doing a deep dive on both. We'll see how it goes.
Deep dive in the shallow pool.
So
Very shallow pool.
Every week for the intrepid of you who like to drink and who are raging alcoholics, we do a little drinking game here because we repeat ourselves often. And do you have the rules there, Hunter?
I have them. Here we go. If Jack says the following words, remake, paranormal, or news, you must drink. Me, if I say investigate, Kalik, or God damn it, oh, you're done tonight, folks.
Yeah.
Drink. Yeah. If Jason says bad, if it shows up on your shirt every time, do they have to drink too? Government or review. And bonus, if any of us say ghost, Ben, or Nigel, this could be the episode where if you're actually drinking, you are dead 10 minutes in.
This will set a record. There's no doubt. It has
Thank
to.
God Sharon keeps track.
Before we jump into these two beautiful Oscar-worthy films, let's get a little horror news out of the way. What do you got, Jack?
All right. First of all, let's talk about Dr. Sleep, the Stephen King book that's a sequel to The Shining. So they're making a movie of it, as you probably know. Now, I did not read Dr. Sleep. I know, Hunter, you did in like a day. Did you read it, Jason?
I did.
I read it in 3 days.
Took me like 3 months, but it's a good book.
They have cast adult Danny Torrance, and it is none other than
Chris Pines.
Moulin Rouge's own Ewan McGregor.
That's not bad.
Really?
Yeah,
Couldn't
I
find
don't
an
think so.
American guy to play Maynard?
It's a freaking actor. It's got to be an American. Shut up.
Yeah, because in this Trump world, I was expecting us to put everything here in America.
They're not casting Space Force.
By the way, now he's created this new arm of the military called Space Force. What does he know that we don't know?
That it cracked me up that was your reaction.
Absolutely.
Not that this is the dumbest freaking thing. It's like, aha!
Well, there's got to be a reason behind it.
Yes, it's called.
Let's
Insanity.
reel this one back in here.
No, this is where the show gets interesting, and then Jason goes, "No, let's get back to boring."
You know what?
Listen,
this is to set up his re-election campaign. Make Earth great again.
yes. Make the cosmos great again.
The cosmos is huge.
the best anal probe. So, I didn't read the book. Can Ewan McGregor or the young Obi-Wan Kenobi pull it off?
Anyone who's just not some super jacked guy, just someone who looks like a regular guy who's a decent actor could pull it off.
He was the guy who made good coffee in Black Hawk Down.
It's true.
I mean, he could pull it off.
As long as they're not casting The Rock or something like that, then it just has to be able to somebody who can play an alcoholic. That's pretty much what's required.
That
Any
book
one
is
of us could do it. That case.
that book is a deep dive into the underpinnings of AA. I mean, if you ever were curious about what goes on in AA, he maps it all out.
Yeah, I feel like I've been there.
Okay, so that is going to be released. Oh my God, Doctor Sleep's not coming out till January 24th of 2020.
Oh, I won't be here. Next,
We'll have died in the space war, the Great Space War of
I'll begin.
2019.
We're battling the Xanties from the Outer Limits.
The frickin' bugs from the Starship Troopers. I hope I get on Denise Richards' ship.
I want to be on Doogie Howser's.
Did you guys ever watch that show Lucifer?
Nope.
No, but my mother loves it, which is another reason why I'm not going to watch it.
I didn't watch it. The only time I was tempted to was when they added Trisha Helfer to the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know she was in it. I probably would have watched that if I'd known that.
It's never
But
too.
I guess there was a big following for this show. So much so that there was like a hashtag Save Lucifer, which is ironic. Save.
I like it.
It was Netflix resurrected it, as you will. And so season 4, I guess, is going to be on Netflix. So like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, show was canceled. Another network has stepped in and saved it. I can care less, but I thought maybe some of our little listeners would.
Well, isn't Lucifer still on TV now, like on Fox or something?
It was canceled off Fox.
Oh, okay.
So
My thing, once my mother told me how much she loves it, I'm like, there's no way. It's not for me.
it's that and then Blue Bloods.
If it's appealing to a 74-year-old woman, it's not going to be for me.
So what is the show about?
I think she thinks the guy's cute.
It's like Lucifer is like a private detective or something. It's
Of course.
It's full of snarky comments.
it's like Wolf Cop, but Satan Cop.
But less funny.
Yes.
Yeah, without
the sex scene.
That's sexy.
Actually, where the hell is Wolf Cop 2? Wasn't that?
Oh, I looked it up. I think it just came out on Blu-ray or it's coming out soon. We should effort that and find out.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that.
We need to do an episode just so I can hear Jason say woof.
Woof.
Wolf Cop?
The dog says woof.
Jason says, go fuck yourself.
If I could. Oh, if I could.
Well, speaking of Jason and werewolves, it's a perfect segue into the next piece of news.
Really?
How?
Who does Jason have the big who gives him causes him to wake up in a tent in the morning?
Joe Bob Briggs?
True that, but female. It's Linnea Quigley.
Oh my God.
This is true as well?
Well, she's going to be in a new werewolf movie called Bone Hill Road.
What?
Okay. Is she gonna dance naked in a cemetery?
Probably.
Is her name Trash?
No surprise. They're like, oh, this movie pays homage to American Werewolf in London, The Howling, and Dog Soldiers.
How
Like,
did
let's
they pick
just-
those three?
Yeah.
Picked the better werewolf movies. I'm sorry, werewolf.
Emily and Eden Stevens escape one violent situation only to dive headfirst into another. Terrified and alone, they are stranded in the dark woods, only to be chased into a horrific scene in a house of horrors. They must work together to get out alive. But what is worse? What is on the inside or the out?
So it sounds like it's nothing like Dog Soldiers, The Howling, or An American Werewolf in London.
Exactly. She calls someone meatloaf. So there's your connection.
I'm sorry I called you Meatloaf.
The direction is similar to something of Hitchcock and Steven Spielberg.
Well, I watched the trailer of this, and it looks like cheesy good fun. So,
All right. Look, as long as they go in with the right sensibility, you can turn dog shit into gold.
Wasn't she having money problems or something? Her house burned down or something not that long ago?
Ooh,
I know
have
very
no
little
idea.
about her.
I feel like I saw something about that. I don't know. All right. I'm in.
And that's all the news that's fit to print.
Good. Because I don't want any time wasted now. I just want to dive into this.
I think first we will jump into Sir No Face. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should tease Bad Ben. Absolutely.
All right. We'll be right back, and we're going to jump into the greatest documentary of all time.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Jack, because you watched this first, and you loved it so much, you wanted all of us to see it, can you give us a quick rundown of Sir Noface?
First of all, let's clarify the facts. I didn't say I love this movie. I said I wanted to talk about this movie with you guys. So all your expectations for a big
already
fight, things
backing
like that
away.
is no. It's and to be honest with you, I really just wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear Hunter's opinion of this movie. So
I legitimately wondered while watching it if you were trolling me with this, and you just wanted to see how pissed off I would be during the episode.
I knew you would be. That was the fun of it.
So a little background on this. This is the kind of movie that gets on Hunter and I's radar. And it was making its rounds around the country and causing a stir up in the, is paranormal one of my words? The paranormal community, where you would have to go see this in a theater, and there was all this buzz about, they claim to have captured a full body apparition on film. And so you'd look it up, you'd Google it, and there was very little information on it except YouTube clips that they produced of people going, wow, it's incredible, and things like that. So it came around here, and we both missed it. And
we were going to go see it because the director, Chad Kalick, was traveling with the movie and doing Q&A sessions.
So the documentary is basically this guy, Chad Kalick, is a ghost hunter, and he was in Australia doing a, I don't know, presentation.
He was doing promo for, because he's a filmmaker too, so he was doing promo for another film.
And he had an Australian ghost hunting team there that was doing presentations, and the guy was showing him some of his evidence, and within this evidence there was this clip that he was like, wait, what is that? And it was this groundbreaking piece of footage that he's like, if that's real, it's like life-changing. And so then the documentary is basically him out to prove whether this is legit or not. And it takes a long time to get there.
An hour and 40 minutes to get there.
Is that enough of a synopsis?
That is
perfect. You may have let out a couple parts about how half of it's a travel log of him. Yes.
Yep.
At least, I mean, we can cut this into spoiler and non-spoiler.
What? Who cares?
Okay.
This.
The only thing you can spoil is showing the video, the 2-second clip. Everything else you can talk about.
The one thing that kind of surprised me, luckily, is they do finally show you the footage about, I think it's about 40 minutes in.
I was surprised they showed it that early.
Me too. And I was like glad they did, because if they had waited to the end, that would have been really bad. So at least they showed it a number of times like that. So
yeah, if they waited to the end, I would not have been there for the end.
Runtime is an hour and 48 minutes.
Yeah, of something that could have been 15 minutes long.
Yeah, seriously. This would have been a great 2-second YouTube clip.
Yeah.
At the least, what's Ghost Hunters? An hour show that's really like 42 minutes of...
Right. So
they could have done that. We'll cut him slack.
He was brought on to Paranormal State, which was a half-hour show, which was actually 22 minutes. That would have been perfect.
What a lovely show that was, too. All good, honorable people involved.
Yeah,
no shenanigans.
That leader, Ryan Buell, has been nothing but an upstanding citizen since then. Faked his cancer, bilked people out of money. He's been arrested for domestic abuse and all kinds of things.
Let's get everyone's quick general view of this before I start losing my mind in the deconstruction. Hunter, what did you think overall?
Look, I love this kind of stuff, and I watch it with my daughter, who she still watches Ghost Adventures, knows it's full of crap, but whatever. So I enjoyed that aspect of father-daughter time, watching paranormal stuff. It's long as hell. It's boring as hell. I mean, there were some tricks that he used and some devices that are so, I don't know, like film schoolish, embarrassing. Like, if they start talking about a movie, I'm like, stop with that.
I learned more about amateur documentary filmmaking than I did the paranormal watching
Yeah.
this. Every trick, the B roll, somebody is talking and they show the words.
Yeah.
The reflective contemplation to music.
It's a hot mess of a movie, and it's trying to be earnest and get to the truth, but when you really think about it, it was everybody was so insincere. And I don't believe it was shot in Australia because no one said good day, mate, or crikey. So I don't know where this was shot.
But they showed a haka. They showed
that's
hakas, and we got to learn what a haka was, and we got to see 15 minutes of it. What are you talking about?
Waka waka.
Jack, it's a very self-indulgent movie on the filmmaker's behalf.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What was your overall view of it?
I'm sure you're with me on this. There's like a scene where he's like, there's a piece of me that will always be in Australia. And it was like that moment that I wanted to jump through the TV and strangle him. I'm like, for God's sakes, I don't care what you think about Australia. Can we please talk about the freaking evidence?
I'm sure that piece was a 2-pound Brindle brand dump that he took. It's still clogging a hotel toilet.
I was very happy to finally see this, and it was on Prime. I didn't pay anything to see it. The overwhelming thing that disappointed me on this was the lack of scientific, in quotes, anything, analysis that was done on this evidence. There was a lot of like, well, I talked to him a bunch of times, and I talked to a lot of people related to this, and I kind of got a gut feeling, and I may have caught him in a lie here. And then I kind of had a friend of mine look at this footage, and we can get into the findings later because there's some real problems with the way they did this. And the fact that they have just like trademarked this or copyrighted this film and are taking it around and charging people rather than, really putting it under scrutiny, red flags ablaze. So I watch it just going, okay, this guy takes the tone that when Hunter and I go do a Monster Man somewhere in a haunted place, we are legitimately two guys who are like, we don't know what the hell is going on here. We're skeptical. We'd love to see something paranormal. Probably not gonna, but let's check it out. So he sort of takes that tone, and then you just kind of, as you watch it, you're like, it's the pseudoscience ghost hunter people who think they're talking science because they watched Ghost Hunters and they know what an EVP means.
Well, they watched Bill Nye children, so they're all scientists.
So I was like, wow, if I'd seen that in the theater,
I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Because those tickets were like $30 or something, I remember.
I watched this on my couch and I was pissed. So I can't imagine paying $30 to see that in the theater.
Yeah, that was it was what I kind of expected, but
my overall view of this is not good. Jack, you said it perfectly. Self-indulgent. So let's jump into a couple things. My first indication I wasn't gonna be happy with this is literally the first frame of the goddamn movie when the words come up, the text come up at the beginning. And he says he's an award-winning filmmaker. I'm like, wow, right at the jump, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Then he plugs his other movie in the same paragraph. And then he says that every tour stop he did with the movie was sold out, as if that is relevant to anything at all. I was like, okay, here we go.
Good marketing.
Could have been 30 seats.
And then I'm thinking, am I supposed to know who this guy is? I mean,
I didn't know who he was.
In the paranormal world, he is relatively well known. I mean, he's not like
any guy who was on one of those TV shows is automatically.
Well, he did that show, then he got his own show, then he's done some movies. So he stayed in that realm, for better or for worse. But
he's got the look, a heavy guy in a black T-shirt with a baseball hat on backwards.
By the way, did you notice how hairy his ears are?
Audra just said that in the chat. That was her favorite part.
Oh my God, the light filtering through the filaments all around his ears was incredible.
So, in the first 5 minutes, I was thinking, this is actually really well produced. The editing is sharp. There's a lot of spiffy transitions and the way they're moving words around. And then after that, I'm like, why the hell are they still doing this? This is supposed to be a documentary, and it's produced like a YouTube video, like a 5-minute YouTube video. To the degree that when he's talking to the camera in the one scene, when he bobs his head down, it pans down and pans around with him like a YouTube comedy show. It blew my mind that this guy was taking this around charging for it. And it's not even talking about the content. It's just, it was so overproduced. It was distracting. Like, it was literally distracting me from the content.
What about when he's walking with the dude from the paranormal team and they're doing that weird walking thing, and it looked just like Michael Scott and Dwight when they were doing the Electric City. It was the same effect. We were laughing till we cried when they kept showing it, that edit that they were doing. Oh my God.
I'm legitimately yep.
Legitimately?
Only on Saturdays. So I'm legitimately confused as to why this is an hour and 48 minutes long. I mean, at one point, he's landing in an airplane, and we have to see the altitude he's at 7 or 8 different times, counting down. What the hell? Just cut this out. What is this?
I think part of me watching it, I kept going, is this his demo reel for like the Travel Channel to get a job?
I definitely think
videographer for one of those shows.
Like I said, I think they were trying to show off their filmmaking skills, and I think there must be a price point. Whereas for like taking the thing on tour, that an hour and 48-minute movie justifies charging $30, whereas if it was a half hour, maybe you only charge $15. I honestly think the length of this has to do with dollars and not content.
I don't know.
See, when watching it, I was thinking it might have been because on Amazon, which is, I think, one of a few places it's on, these guys get paid depending on how long people watch it for. So I was thinking that, but then when I looked it up, I saw that he toured around with it. So I don't know. Maybe it's a demo reel, but it's a long-ass demo reel.
It's brilliant, though, because in this sort of carny world, what's behind the curtain? You know, how many times have you gone to a freak show and paid a couple of dollars to go, and then you just see, you know, something in a jar and this crap, but you're so freaking curious. So Hunter and I both were like, oh, I got to see what this is talking about.
Look, if you're one of these evidence junkies, I'll put air quotes around evidence. It has a compelling piece of evidence if you just take it on face value. But as he tries to deconstruct, like the way he deconstructs it and questions this guy's veracity, all falls apart in the end. Because he keeps thinking this guy is lying to him about whether he was a professional rugby player.
Oh God.
And this is the underpinning for the belief in this whole thing. And at the very end, the guy says, well, I got hurt. I was on like the minor leagues. And Chad's like, oh, okay. Problem solved. Why didn't you just call the team and ask if he'd ever been on the team?
Here's the thing. At the beginning, when they were talking about it, when he kept saying the guy was lying, the guy said he never played pro. He said, I played with a lot of the guys that are pro, but I never was pro. And for some reason, this guy spent an hour and a half then having to research if the guy played pro ball when he didn't.
But he did no research.
It's like...
He just waited for the guy to tell him, oh, no, yeah, I was. Like, that made no sense.
But he did walk across the street to his neighbor to show him footage, so there was a lot of research there.
I know.
Now,
He did do the Avengers.
Jesus the Christ.
They did do the classic setup for the evidence where they say something early in the show that then has a payoff, a callback later. Yeah. So the early things we see are some ghost hunts and things, and there's that light that keeps going on in the building, and he gets touched by something, freaks out, and talks about how he had seen a little boy at some point. So that's out there. They keep showing the lights, which I don't know what you thought of that.
Nothing.
The lights were flashing. Oh!
Yeah.
Shit.
And they were tight shots. You couldn't really tell. This movie is 10 or 12 years too late. If this came out 2006, 2008, before we were so saturated with this kind of crap, people would trip over themselves for it.
Back
but now,
before people were calling bullshit too.
right. And if you look, like on the train ride home today, I said, let me Google the movie. There is no chatter about this movie.
Nothing.
Even in the paranormal field, there's nothing.
It was crazy. That's I had to email you back, Jack, to see if I got the name of the movie right, because it's not even on IMDb. Like, I could find nothing. Even on Reddit and the paranormal subreddits, almost no talk of this. It's crazy.
Almost everything you see on there is stuff that was created by him, Chad Kalick, or the production team.
It's like I saw him like on Jim Norton's show and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's no independent.
It's all promotion.
resources.
I did listen to a podcast on YouTube where some guys talked about the movie. So some of the evidence, before we get into the actual evidence, the circumstances around the evidence, they capture something in this building, and they claim, well, the guards took us in there, then we left and they locked it, and nobody went there. The guard told us nobody went there the rest of the night.
We asked the guard 3 separate times.
So they're going on the word of the guard, and we're going on their word that nobody. We never really get. I mean, they take us to the back of the building at one point to see maybe what's behind there, but you never really get a good view of the footage. Takes place in a hallway, a small hallway, but they never really just walk the camera back and show you the exact space.
But they said it was a small space, Jack.
They don't establish place at all.
Nope. I have no idea what the inside of that building looks like.
Nor do they talk about why did they call this thing Sir.
Oh, they did talk about that
at the beginning.
I must have dozed
You didn't
immediately.
miss anything. And then when they tried to, so for anyone who's, in case I don't even know, did we say what it was? It's just a figure leans out around the door and leans back. 2 seconds.
I'll tell you what it looked like, and if they played this angle up, it could be a different movie. It looked like an alien.
I thought it looked like a boy with pantyhose on his head.
Which is why Space Force first mission should be to Australia.
I want to kill Sir Noface. Get him where he lives.
The fact that was. Oh, sorry, go, Jack.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yes, you're right. The Sir Noface is a figure that basically looks out and then looks back, and they're like, no human could move like that.
Oh yeah, they kept saying that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Then
we couldn't
just
see around a
recreated
corner.
The two possibilities to debunk are: was it CG or was it a person? And maybe it's my age, but there's an episode of the Brady Bunch where they pretend to haunt the attic using like a sheet with a balloon in it and some wire. And basically I was like, if you had Waylon Flowers and Madam, the puppet, and just took the puppet and went like this and swung it out, the arms would swing and come back. I go, so you easily, like, what they never talked about it being a doll or some other sort of.
If I partially deflated that alien I bought at the UFO fair,
right,
and I could have gotten his arm to flop a little bit, it would look just like that.
I didn't understand why someone's arm couldn't do that anyway. They kept saying that it couldn't be a person, but I couldn't understand why.
I could make my arm just flap against the side of my body.
Yeah, okay, my arm's not rigid.
They also said it was transparent, and I didn't get that from what I saw.
But they did try to recreate it with a giant fat guy instead of a little tiny person. So that proved it. With a beard. And they're like, look, you can see his facial features. No, I can see his goddamn beard.
And why did it peek in and out? That immediately is suspicious. Oh, yeah.
Almost like it's a person who saw a camera. Weird.
So then, all right, we're just jumping into this. And I'm sorry for being the guy to get to there first, but this is the big reveal, right, in the evidence, is that they're doing a side-by-side with the fat guy in the frame, and then they realize that the cameras are off because they're framed for a big person, and actually the camera was further back, and the figure was actually the size of a little boy.
A child, oh my
Call
God.
back. wait a minute, somebody mentioned a little boy. It's like every found footage movie you've ever seen, where they set it up at the beginning and then they talk about it. Except that I'm going, okay, if we are not scientists, but I think if the three of us are like, okay, let's try and recreate this in the most realistic way possible, I think we would have considered things like that. Like, do we have the exact frame?
I'm not a doctor, but I think I would have seen the door and been like, wait a minute, we're shooting too high. Nope. It took Chad Gaelic, whatever his name is.
Gaelic, yeah.
You know, the detective himself to be like, wait a minute, the angle's different. This couldn't be a man. It has to be a boy.
Look, this was also they've done so well. Wasn't it the end credits where both the guy who took the footage and Chad Gaelic are both out of investigating the paranormal?
Yes.
Now they found literally the find of the century, right? They have proven the paranormal, and they both have retired to do other things.
They haven't just proven the paranormal. They've proven that you live after death. Like, that's huge.
Yep.
And no, they quit.
Amazing. Utterly amazing.
Like I said, if this was the mid-aughts, I would have been excited. I probably wouldn't have complained so much about the time. But now it's like I have been beaten to death by these shows. So it was just throw it on the fire. Who cares?
I legitimately thought we were going to see something floating or not someone lean around the corner. I mean, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about this and not just report on it and then one of you would watch it a couple of weeks later and report. I wanted to get us all in the same. So there's that magic moment where they first show. And so you're like, I finally have seen Sir Noface. What was your initial reaction to that thing?
I thought there was going to be more, so I kept waiting. Literally, that was it. And then when I figured out that was it, I don't know how many times I paused this and looked at my wife. I was like, I should be glad you're not watching this movie.
My daughter gasped, but she's 18. I was just like, it's more solid looking stuff than you see on any other show. I was like, okay. But then I was like, but it's bullshit. And there's another hour left to go. That's where my mind went. And I say, well, let's see how he debunks this. And he didn't even do that.
But he walked across the street to his neighbor. Come on. His
sure
neighbor
did.
who couldn't be bothered to get off the couch for the interview.
We're glad he put his shirt on.
And I thought he was going to give him the file and he was going to analyze it. And No. The guy takes it over on his laptop and plays it for him.
Yeah, he doesn't even get the original source file.
You get to my second thing. So the scientific analysis is them recreating it and then him showing his friend on a laptop on their couch, not like, oh, we took this and at least come up with a fake looking lab or something like that.
Something.
To show us. But, and then like he recreates it and they just show briefly the thing he made that looked like crap. And I'm like, well, you really glossed over that really quickly.
He said, look, at the shadow's too dark on the CG version. I'm like, okay, so you lighten the shadow.
Lighten the shadow, yeah.
Re-render.
A few keys that you got to tap.
Oh, how about when he was grilling the guy and he said, you told me you don't know anybody who can do CG work, but I saw the intro to your show on YouTube. And
quality CG.
First of all, I've seen that intro on a lot of people's videos. That is a freaking template you can buy for $30 or $50, and you put your shit in it and it renders it. I mean,
right.
Come on, man.
And how did he not know that?
I'm guessing he did. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Either way, I'm looking at it thinking, all that is track motion. You can do that in any shitty video editor, and I could do it better. Like when it was panning and you could see the words in the hallway, they were like jittery.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, this was really painful to me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It was painful for all of us.
It goes to show you the market there is to make money off this kind of stuff. Because this guy took this thing around the country and made probably a pretty chunk of change and has probably flipped it into his next job.
Well, I mean, we mentioned Ryan Buell, who headed Paranormal State. Now, this guy's been in jail and arrested and everything, and a known scammer, and people are still going on ghost hunts, paying to do ghost hunts with him every weekend. So
That's insane.
You can't stop these people who want to believe. Show me an orb.
When you
can't stop
see a group of people, and there's this doofus, sorry, ghost hunting people, but there's a lot of people who just are, well, I'm wearing the t-shirt. It's like there's a million sales and marketing gurus out there now who are only sales and marketing gurus because they say they are on social media.
Yeah.
And they post a lot of quotes about selling and marketing and stuff like that. And they trick people into thinking that they really know what they're talking about, but they don't. It's the same thing with this. And when I watch a group of people paying money to go into some abandoned hospital, so this guy could say, okay, well, when we do a ghost hunt, this is the procedure. And they're just doing, anybody could do. Yeah, we go in and we turn the lights off and we do that. Like, there's nothing special to what they're doing. But these people are paying and like nodding and listening.
Well, at least Kalik didn't do night vision, a ton of night vision. He didn't bring out REM pods or EMF meters or anything. Give him that.
What was it Ghost Hunters where they used to use was it a barometer as a thermometer or a thermometer? It was something crazy.
Oh, a thermal laser
thermal
thermometers.
camera.
They had everything. Whatever they could find at Radio Shack, they used.
No, but I'm just trying to remember what it was. They had it reversed. They were using their tools incorrectly, and it was like, oh, what a shock. It might not have been Ghost Hunters. It might have been one of those other ridiculous shows.
There's so many.
A few other things I wanted to jump into here. So at the end, anyone who does not, he says this for quite a while, anyone who does not believe this footage is a climate denier for whatever reason. This somehow turned into climate change something or other.
Yeah.
And then he goes after James Randi. What the hell? What was that? James Randi is an American treasure, first of all. Anyone who goes after that guy is a shyster. The only people who go after him are hoaxsters. What's that?
Shysters don't like him.
No, they don't. And he was saying all kinds of bullshit at the end. It was really crazy. And then at the very end of the film, he literally quotes himself before the credits.
Yeah.
What? What?
It was pretty remarkable.
I don't know that I've ever seen that in a film.
They almost did like the Animal House, where are they now things. You see, like, are you kidding me? I don't care where people are now.
Oh.
And we now have given this movie way more attention than we ever should have. We just talked a half an hour about this.
There was so much more I could go into. When we got to watch him checking out a rugby game, that was awesome. I love that.
Oh my
so
God.
much fun.
Love that. I loved a lot of scenes with his daughter.
It's good shit, man.
She was important. She was integral to the.
I got the sense that she's important to him as his family.
It's crazy. He's different.
Endears me to him and makes me want to give him money.
Well, all his shows are sold out. And he's an award-winning filmmaker of the film A Blood Red Sky, which I'm guessing must be about climate change, the way that shit twisted at the end.
Climate change deniers.
I can't stress that enough. This guy is showing icebergs collapsing. He's showing like all this crazy visuals saying, if you don't believe this, you're a climate change denier. And then he just goes in a climate change rant and then starts showing video of James Randi and shitting on James Randi.
It got interesting when they went into that. I was like, wow, this is like, I didn't read the book for my book report, so I'm just going to talk a lot and hope I can tap dance my way through this.
Yeah, it's like any book report. If you didn't read the book, you just compare the main figure to Christ at some point, and everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Look, if you're compelled to watch this, turn it on, fast forward until they show the evidence, and then turn it off. If you have Prime, it didn't cost you anything, and it doesn't even have to take up your time.
You fast forward it to the evidence, and then fast forward it to about 20 minutes to the end so you can see the
breakdown,
breakdown.
My last word on this is, if you want to know, all I'll say is anyone who goes after a debunker in that way, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign when you personally go after somebody who has debunked a lot of bullshit.
Right.
That's not a positive sign for this. So
and prove that you didn't do your homework on that end yourself.
Yeah. So James Randi's done more for the community than anybody else by just debunking so much of that bullshit.
Is
Yep.
the 2-word review no, sir, sir, no credibility or sir, no watch?
Sir, no watch.
Sir, go fuck yourself. You ready to do Bad Ben?
Yes. God damn it. Let's get to Bad Ben.
Hunter, god damn it. Give us a description of Bad Ben Mandela effect.
First of all, I can't believe that Nigel Bach tackled the Mandela effect. This is the kind of topic that Philip K. Dick, Isaac Asimov, multiverse kind of high thinking
Hunter
would
Shea.
take on. But they're gone. And we have Nigel Bach. And he has done it, my friends.
Kick the Mandela effect in the teeth.
This is Nigel going right back to the beginning. He has bought the house from the sheriff's auction, and he's going to flip this house.
Not bad for a sheriff's auction.
Ah. Oh, it must have been religious. So the beginning, it starts just like the beginning. In fact, I don't know if he reshot it or he just put the original beginning. I couldn't figure out.
I'm pretty sure it was reshot.
I think only because of his hair looked different.
I think he reshot it because it's done in shorthand. It's like it's kind of just the broad strokes of what happened in Bad Ben.
Right.
It's not. He's like, oh, okay, hey, there's a Bible. I'll just take it outside real quick.
When you watch it a second time, which I watched 1.5 times, there are little differences from the first movie. So it's him going to the house and then encountering the paranormal again, except because this is the Mandela effect, there are endless Nigel Bachs who have bought endless houses in sheriff's auctions. So every time something comes to its denouement, he pops right back in his car, driving to the house. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's dark, and we begin again. And we are trapped in the hell of Bad Ben time loops.
I don't know if I want to punch you more because you really believe in the Mandela effect or because you got to drop a big vocabulary word in that.
I said I believe in Nelson Mandela, you dummy. No.
Would you say this movie is the Evil Dead 2 of the series? It retells the first movie and then changes it.
This is true. Here, he could have gone full on Evil Dead 2, but he seemed to pull back on the comedy this time.
A little bit.
He could have gone balls out. There wasn't enough God damn it. There wasn't enough walking around in his underpants and his
There was
slides.
still some good stuff, but he did
Yes.
rein it in a little bit.
Yeah. But I will say later why this is one of the most genius moves I've ever seen a filmmaker do. And he is my fucking hero after watching this.
So it sounds like you like it.
I did. It's Bad Ben. I could watch Nigel just puttering around the house all day long.
You have watched him puttering around the house 3 different times.
Now 4. Oh no, not that he wasn't in part 2. So you're right. I don't know. There's something about him that just captivates me. He's like the prettiest girl on the train. Can't stop looking at him.
Jack, what was your impression?
The prettiest girl on a train is probably the last way I would describe this guy.
I'm being complimentary.
I really got a kick out of how he got more mileage out of this franchise. Like I said, by doing shorthand. So the original Bad Ben had way more stuff going on. It had more Ben. It had more ghost stuff. This concentrates on a doll more.
And the first one had all the different camera angles from the security cameras and things like that. This is mostly him carrying around a GoPro.
So this is the shorthand, like close enough. And it's the kind of movie that you have to watch the whole thing for the payoff, because there's kind of the first segment's pretty long. And then once it gets to the Mandela effect stuff, you've been like, okay, wow, that took a while to get to it. But there's some funny stuff that goes on in there, whatever. But then that, I guess the third act, like, is the big payoff, because that's where he really shines. And
yes,
I will say this, for all the ups and downs of this movie, it's like the best ending of a movie ever.
It was really good. It was really good.
The ending is...
So you also enjoyed it?
I thought it was okay.
I I don't understand what the hell it is about these movies that I am so captivated by. But every time I find out there's a new one coming, I am legitimately excited. Like, no bullshit. I know we're always laughing and joking around about these. It's something about the tone and the way he shoots these things and acts in it that it just cracks me up.
Oh, we love these.
I laugh my ass off watching these.
You
And
become endeared to the guy, so it's almost like you feel like you kind of live at Steelmanville
baby,
Road.
I'm wearing a Bad Ben t-shirt.
Yeah, you are fan number one right now.
I bought this 2 weeks ago, badbenmovie.com, just saying.
That's a
Give
great
me
shirt.
money.
It's a great shirt. I could see getting one of those.
He definitely paid a graphic artist a ton of money, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth
I
it.
mean, that's a great shirt to wear in like a chiller. You're gonna crush it.
Yes. Oh, I have to get one.
It actually, I do like it. It's pretty comfortable too. So this dude,
Wait, important note. Should you purchase a size up or is it true fit?
this is an extra large. It was maybe a tad smaller than that, but not too much. It's a pretty good fit.
You got a lady cut.
I don't like you. So this, I didn't like this as much as the third one because he pulled some of the humor back.
Mm-hmm.
But I also appreciated this one a lot because whether certain things work in this or not, this dude freaking goes for it. He at one point just starts reenacting Child's Play and starts having a monologue with a doll before slapping the shit out of it. Like,
Oh my god, that was so funny.
it is the best. He is attacked by a doll in one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in the attic. It's the best thing of all time.
Yeah,
the
that
guy
doll
goes-
running was great.
One of the best parts of the whole movie is when he goes back and watches like the GoPro footage that he had put on the doll, and he's like, "Hey, were you gonna stab me?"
He's not so concerned that there's a walking, talking doll as
No.
it was outside his room with a knife, and he's really upset about that. Instead of being like he puts it outside, and he said 4 or 5 times, "I don't know if she's moving by herself or if something's moving her." He just kept saying, "I'm like, what does it fucking matter?" Get out of
Exactly. He was very undaunted this time around.
But you know, it was funny because he would fluctuate. He'd be really bold and daring and would confront it, and then he would get terrified when it like attacked him. Like, so he had real mood swings.
His screaming in this was Fay Ray and King Kong level.
Top notch
It was
work.
unbelievable. Those peals of terror that were coming out of his throat. And did you cheer out loud when he said his first "God damn it"?
I was listening. I didn't even really notice. God damn it!
I heard one, and we were like, "Yes!"
Yeah, there
he
weren't
did
that
it."
many.
I heard a lot of what the fuck, but I didn't hear a lot of God damn it.
I like he didn't explain what the Mandela effect is.
No.
So if you don't know what it is, you're gonna watch the movie going, "What the hell is this?"
That's what I'm talking about. Like, he just kind of dumps this on you.
But I
And
like that.
if you didn't read any of the press or whatever, the marketing in
The
front
press.
of it, the Facebook post that preceded this, you wouldn't. The trailer, I don't know. You just turn this movie on, you'd be like, "What?" Like, I never heard of the Mandela effect until you mentioned it like 6 months ago. And I'm like, "What is this?"
Right.
So I'm sure most people out there don't know what the Mandela effect
Sorry,
is.
they'll just whip their phone out and look it up while they're watching, like they all do.
But even, is this really the Mandela effect? It's like a time.
Yes,
now.
it is. It is. Well, it's not the Mandela effect per se, where you're in this plane of reality. So he's just saying, we are an onion, and there's all layers, and each layer there's you, and there's everything around you, but there's subtle difference. Like
You're an onion because you make me want to cry.
smell. Like there's 2 dog beds and there's 1 dog bed. There's a table with food in the living room. Then there's not. Like there were all these little tiny changes to the kitchen.
Those are not the Mandela effect. It's continuity errors.
Well, maybe that's why he called it the Mandela effect. It was like, fuck. I put that cookie jar in there.
His roommate threw out one of the dog beds. He's like, "Fuck."
You asshole! I'm shooting.
I I love when the doll comes into the camera view.
The clown doll?
Yeah, and it
Oh.
kind of like looks and it looks at the camera and then looks back and goes off again.
What was that?
It was awesome, is what it was.
Yeah, other than awesome.
I see some people, quite a few people in the chat haven't seen this movie, so I'll just tell you right now, watch Bad Ben. Don't bother with Steelmanville Road. It just doesn't feel like the rest of the movies. I don't know anybody who's really been happy with it. Then watch Badder Ben. So Bad Ben, Badder Ben, and then this Bad Ben Mandela Effect, and you'll be happy as can be. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
I did really like the part. He threw a little humor in. I don't know if it was towards the middle when he finds both dolls and he's carrying them into the basement and you hear the scream and he's like, shut up. And then you hear it again, shut up.
Oh, yeah, because the Jersey Devil, the Jersey Devil was down there.
I guess.
That's Bad Ben.
Well, isn't Bad Ben like the ghost and the Jersey Devil is... Oh, I don't know. Now I forget.
I thought Bad Ben was the Jersey Devil.
I don't think so. I think they're separate.
Yeah, Ben is the boy, the dead boy or something.
Something like that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I got to take 3 hours out of my life and just watch them all over again, one after the other.
I haven't watched this with my buddy that I do So Bad It's Good with, and I want us to do all three. Although I don't know how we'll do an episode. I just want to watch them and drink beer because
there you go.
They're great.
By the way, now here's where he's a genius. Now he's introduced the Mandela effect. He can now shoot an endless number of Bad Ben movies in his home and just change it every time. He never has to leave that house now. He set the tone for the future.
Well, it seems like he was already doing that before. So
yeah, but now he made it plausible. If I'm using the word loosely. But
yeah, but he also could just be like, "This is a reboot of Bad Ben."
He just Cloverfield the Bad Ben series.
There you go. he Cloverfield effect.
Yeah,
the Cloverfield paradox, the Bad Ben
paradox.
series.
That's it.
Except, well, they will move all around. He's staying in that fucking house.
Well, it's not a bad house for a sheriff's sale.
I want to know what Nigel does for a living.
First of all, he lives in a legitimately giant house. It looks big from the outside, but when you see it from the inside, that's a big ass house.
Yeah.
And two, this man has more televisions than a Best Buy.
I know.
He has a TV in his unfinished basement. He has a TV in his screened-in porch. His living room, one of his 18 different living rooms.
Yeah. He's got one living room that has chairs in front of couches. Like, who sets up a room this way? Just got so much furniture, just throw it in there or whatever.
I know there are varying degrees of belief in God, of the supernatural, and whatever, superstitious. But something tells me, and I know there's a suspension of disbelief. But if you moved into a house, even if you were not a religious person, the first thing you would do would be like, oh, I got to get this religious stuff out. Particularly a Bible that you could probably sell for a lot of money somewhere.
Oh, this huge, awesome-looking Bible.
Or donate it. But he throws it. But I know you need that, whatever. But then the going out in the yard and finding like the satanic grave and digging it all up. Like, I think even the most staunch skeptic might think twice before just like, what are all the things I could do to open the gates of hell?
He even says, this looks like the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah. And that stuff is not buried deep. It's like one shovel.
It looks like it was buried almost right before he turned the camera on, too. Oh, I love this guy. Honestly, this is why I slog through a lot of found footage movies, not as many as I used to, but I just love finding people who are like, God damn it, I'm going to make a movie. And they just start shooting it. And sometimes you get something like this that's just glorious.
This is 4 movies in. It's amazing.
You're bringing up a good point because I watched a found footage movie that I'll talk about next week. But what you consistently find is us watching some found footage movie that's forgettable and bad and stupid and dumb. And this, while it's low production movies, it's clearly schlocky on purpose. And so it's just, this is entertaining, light, and fun. And it's a guy having fun. So he's putting out something basically in the YouTube world where you can take your iPhone and make a movie. And he's making something, it's low budget and silly. but it's entertaining, and it's more captivating than 75% of these stupid produced found footage.
It's
movies.
amazing. There's a charisma that he has that you got to watch him.
What the fuck? He must have said that like 15 times.
The thing is that when you watch Bad Ben for the first time, you didn't realize who this guy was and the humor behind it. So I remember seeing it and like talking to my friend at work and just being like, yeah, I saw that. They're actually he told me about it. It's like, I saw this movie Bad Ben. I'm not sure what to think about it. I guess it's like kind of good, but then it's kind of like silly or whatever. Then I watch it and I was like, oh yeah, like there's like the tone switches in that movie back and forth.
Yeah.
And then you watch Stillmanville Road and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, that was a rough one. So was the Tom Riley Paranormal Investigator.
I didn't see that.
15-minute cartoon.
Do it.
That's he definitely was going for like a South Park vibe.
So that's a great example of why the found footage thing works for this guy. Just in the trailer for the animated series, oh man, I'm probably gonna sound like shit. I keep leaning away from the mic. The audio levels in his dialogue were wildly different, almost as if he was using a different microphone or recording in a different setting. And it is extremely noticeable in a traditional film or an animated something, anything like that. But in found footage, you expect the dialogue and the sound to change as the camera's further away or closer. It's not like a traditional film where everything has to be on point. So he's able to get away with a lot of stuff in these movies that when he did the animated one, I watched the trailer and I was like, I can't do it just because of the audio variations and things like that. So,
and I am glad that in his movies, they don't do the cameras aren't glitching every
thank God.
10 seconds and doing things that modern video cameras don't do. Like if you had a Super 8 maybe or a VHS-C, it's actually smooth sailing with Nigel the Captain.
No, I completely agree. I had a couple things I wanted to bring up that I laughed at or was confused by. So the beginning, when he's talking to his cell phone, when he's driving down the road, and he says, how do I turn this thing around? And he hits a button and it changes from selfie mode to regular mode.
Out on the road. Yeah.
You can see his cell phone is mounted on the dash. I'm guessing for nav purposes. And
yes.
I'm like, Nigel?
Oops.
So I'm guessing he was shooting on a GoPro there and just didn't think to, move that.
Right.
And the other thing I noticed several times were dolly zooms. Did you see that? Where he'd be walking through a doorway and it would kind of do like a dolly zoom where things would go. I think
that's more like his office chair and somebody just rolling.
But I didn't understand why they were in there. I don't know if he was hiding cuts or was trying to put some kind of... I wasn't sure what was going on there. So
holy crap, dude, you're overthinking this.
Well, maybe he'll do another making of and he will show us how he did it.
I would love to know, to be honest.
Maybe he hired the guys from Sir No-Face to help him produce it.
God. You should hit him up on Facebook and ask him.
Next time he does Facebook Live videos quite a bit, and he will answer your questions. So,
getting to the ending, it was a good punchline on a joke. The last vignette, the last Mandela effect was like the punchline you were waiting for the whole time,
and it was perfect.
Yes, he didn't spit the bit, which big Hollywood movies do all the time.
I thought this movie got better as it went. I thought, like you said, Jack, the first segment was too long. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have seen maybe another 2 segments in there with the same runtime.
Yes.
But, yeah. So I did want to say one more thing that I'm hoping for. I would like for him to bring back the 2 Ghost Hunter characters from the third movie, the couple.
Yeah.
I thought they were funny as hell. And I think... a little variation with him might help with the comedy more. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see him work with them again and do something. So,
well, what if they could do a live action Tom Riley Paranormal Investigator with those 2, and they go somewhere besides Stillmanville Roll? I mean, the world is their oyster now.
They can go to their own apartment.
My biggest wonder is, does he not want to go somewhere else because it's harder to shoot somewhere else other than your house? I don't know, but. I would really like to see him just branch out just a little bit and do something with them again because they were funny as hell.
They were, and they're aren't they comedians?
Yeah.
In real life, so they have some chops.
Yeah, the guy had the best line in Batter Ben when he said, "My name's not even Smitty," or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a funny one.
All right. Any last words here on the Bad Ben series or the documentary of the year?
So the other thing in comparing these two movies, Bad Ben's what, like an hour and 7 minutes?
Yes.
And if anything, that's a perfect runtime. If maybe an hour would have been better, but you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't too long.
Can't even give him the 7 minutes.
As opposed to, well, we were talking about that first act. Maybe if he had knocked off the 7. But it's any longer, probably the gag gets a little old.
Yeah.
Whereas Sir No Face could have been shorter than this movie.
Oh, should have been. Should have been.
Honestly, I mean, when you're not getting bored, that buys you a lot of positivity towards a movie.
Yeah, boredom is never a good sign.
No, to me, that's the ultimate sin in a movie. That's why I can sit and watch these Bad Ben movies and laugh at them and laugh with this guy and enjoy myself. They're short, they're sweet, they're funny. There's nothing pretentious about them either.
No. You know what? Maybe sweet's a good word. I think there's a sweetness to the movies. I think that's the perfect way to describe them. Any
criticisms that I have of this, like, there's a little part of me that wishes I was doing what this guy is doing. Because I would be a blast to make movies like this and put them up on Amazon. And
no one's stopping you, Jack.
Come on over next week. Let's film one.
All right.
That would be great. I'm just saying.
I'll pick out your boxers.
Bring them up. And slippers. You got to run around in slippers and boxers.
Yeah.
God damn it. No, I'm 100% with you. And it's kind of what I was talking about earlier is I love that somebody like Nigel can just be like, what the hell? I'm going to make a movie this weekend and throw it up on Amazon. And honestly, I don't know how much money he's making or how that's going. I don't know if he's able to buy new equipment or what the deal is, but he's got a pretty sizable following on Facebook. If you look at the first Bad Ben, it's got a shitload of reviews on Amazon. So
it's because of us. Totally. We're going to take full credit.
People are watching this.
So last year at Chiller, I don't know if you're familiar with the guy on YouTube that does oh my God, I get the bread and milk. I got to get the bread and milk.
Yeah.
They're really funny videos. That guy had a table at Chiller.
Oh, that's right.
And people were paying for his autograph and for pictures with him. If that guy, who's hilarious, but is a YouTube star, can get a table at Chiller, Bad Ben could have a table.
Yeah, Nigel should definitely get oh my God, he'd make a killing.
Oh, just think about, we would be in line. We would. That's one of those, like, you and I will never like wait in a long line for anybody.
No.
Adam West was there, and I'm like, I'm not waiting in line.
Yeah.
You know, and now he's dead. I missed it.
But him, oddly enough, I would wait on a long line.
Nigel?
It's so weird. Yeah.
Maybe he'll sign my shirt. So the last time we did a Bad Ben film, we asked everyone who was listening to hit this guy up on Twitter and Facebook and tell him we want to have him on Final Guys because he will not respond to us. I think he thinks we're just being mean and we don't actually enjoy his movies. So hit him up some more. If we could get him on here for an episode, that would be the best.
I mean, he has to realize by now, this is over a year. Nobody loves him more than us. I'll say we love him more than his mom.
I legitimately would like to interview the guy. I would like to know, how he's doing this, what's he spending on these. Does he actually swear that much in person?
Yeah.
Why does he have so many TVs?
So if we got him on here, what are the odds that God damn it would be a drinking game word?
I would have to.
I bet we can't even say it. That might be the proviso that he sends us.
If it's not a word, Bradford's fired from the non-paying gig he has.
That no talent Shea does my voice. I'm out of here.
I legitimately want to ask him to do a character in one of my audiobooks. Just like a little side character. I just want to send him the lines, have him record them, and send them back to me and just put them in the file.
That would be awesome.
I don't know. Maybe he'll do it.
Oh, look. Can we say this is 3 thumbs up for this one?
Sure.
Hell yeah. For Amazon Prime for an hour and 7 minutes, I legitimately laughed a lot during this. So
I think we're at the point now where we would pay for another one.
You know, if he charged like $4 for the next one, I'd pay $4 for it. Sure.
Yep, I would too.
So, all right.
Jack would come to my house and let me pay for it and watch it with me.
Jack, are you balking at $4?
Maybe 3.
All right. Yeah, every man has his limit.
$2.99.
But you know, when these movies are like $7.99,
No.
for preview, I'm like,
Yeah, no, that's too much.
You got to get it down at least under the $5 mark.
Right.
'Cause
$4.
Once you get into like $2.99, you're getting into no-brainer territory. For Bad Ben, I'll give him $1 or $2 above no-brainer, but I won't pay frickin' $7 to see almost anything.
No, I'm with you. Unless it's in the theater, that's too much.
Right.
One more thing, and this is the last thing, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So I said I want him to bring those 2 characters back. I also want him to mount GoPros on their chest so that I can see him in the frame at different times reacting to different things. And,
somebody said they saw his dog under the table in the seance.
Yes, when he was doing the Ouija board.
yeah, in the seance, yep. So I didn't know if he kept saying he was feeling something under the table. Was that supposed to be scary, or was that supposed to be a joke that he could see the dog? And it was like the Mandela effect, and the dog was in the house that time.
Right. You can explain away anything with the Mandela effect. It's awesome.
That's so true. All right, gentlemen. So we have no idea what the hell to watch next week, right?
Nah, we'll figure it out.
So
We'll put it on the Facebooks.
We've boiled it down to the Endless may or may not be coming out this week. We don't think so.
No,
But if
we'd
it does,
love it to.
we'll try and do that. If not, I guess just follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We'll probably do a classic, right?
Yeah.
Secret time.
We make no promises on telling you what the next movie is going to be, so we'll figure it out, and you can follow us in order to get it. It's the way it is, kids.
You tell them, Daddy.
Yeah.
That's right.
You want Patreon? Then we'll start talking about having.
There we go.
Yeah, we're hitting Patreon. You guys can vote on whatever the hell we're going to watch.
Yeah.
Patreon exclusive. Then we'll tell you.
Hunter.
You can nominate movies.
You have
Yes.
a book that just dropped.
Today, Jurassic Florida, which is a novella about giant iguanas taking over this little town of Polo Springs, Florida. If you like them and all those creature feature movies from the 50s and 60s, you're going to dig this. It's a novella. It's a little over 100 pages. It's $1.99, ebooks everywhere. And it's one of 3 books coming out this year, my One Size Eats All series.
Nice.
So it's got great. It's already got 7 reviews. It just was for sale. Started the sale today. We got 7 reviews up there. It is number 11 in horror short stories. I leapfrogged some Stephen King books there.
The ones that came out in the 70s?
Feeling pretty chuffed. Probably. So yeah, check it out. $1.99. Come on.
What was it
man.
called again?
Jurassic Florida.
You timed that well because Jurassic Park comes out this weekend.
It's amazing. We didn't even know. We had set this date months ago, so that's kind of crazy.
Which is that the movie we should be watching, or is this a Hunter Shea?
No.
That's also a me pass. The storyline looks
because you guys
so
don't
bad.
like to get ratings on our show.
Correct.
No, right.
I like doing a shitload of work for nothing. That's my preferred method.
Because
There
a
you
movie
go.
that would get clicks, we shouldn't do.
Well, look at Avengers Infinity War. That didn't get much, so fuck it.
Fuck you.
You
All
told
right.
me to fuck myself. Now you want to fuck me? What's going on?
No, I never said I wanted to. I
think
give
you
you the
do.
broom handle, the mop handle.
You look at it. It's the end of the episode, and we've fallen off the edge again.
Yep.
Speaking of getting fucked, I just bought your book, so
Oh yeah, you're done.
I'd pay $7.99 for Bad Ben over $1.99 for that crap.
I agree. I would too.
all right, freaks. $1.99. You can't beat that. Jesus Christ. It's a novella.
That's right.
Not even a short story. Also, we had a shitload of reviews go up this week. We've got, I think, one going up every single day this week, I hope. So we appreciate all you guys are sending them in. There's a lot more of you sending them in as we go. Appreciate all of you. You guys are doing a great job, and hopefully the community can keep growing.
That's right, baby.
Keep sharing. Keep liking.
Any last words? Let's get the hell out of here.
I'm done.
Except keep sharing.
I can't even sit up straight anymore. I'm done.
God damn it.
God damn it.